Hey everyone, so I want to go over peer review real quick to make sure that you understand how to do the assignment and get a good grade on it and that you understand the logistics of Canvas. We're going to do peer review this time and probably a couple more times throughout the semester, and they'll all pretty much operate the same, but I want to go over a few things. So first of all, peer review, you are going to do this at work, and that's part of the reason that we do it in the professional writing course. No matter where you work, you're going to be asked to look at coworkers' writing and give feedback. I mean, it's a lot like a code review if you program, but you're going to be asked at work to look at a coworker's writing or even your boss's writing and give them feedback to help improve it. And so it's important that you learn how to give meaningful feedback as part of a professionalism course. It's also a good thing to do peer review because you'll get a better grade on the assignment. The key here is that you're going to write the best email that you can write, what you think would be an A, and then people are going to give you feedback to make it even better, and then you turn it in. Then no matter what your final grade was, it will definitely be higher than it would have been if no one had looked at it before you turned it in. So it's a win-win situation. So you're going to go ahead and I attached the prompt for the email to the announcement from Thursday. So you can see it there. You can also go ahead and look ahead to the email and you'll see the same prompt. You're going to write an email to your boss and it's about ethics. What you're going to do is you're going to write a draft in Word. Please do not use Pages because if the person reading your email does not have a Mac, that will create difficulties. So I really would like it if you would create it in Word. And then Canvas is going to prompt you to turn it in two separate places that have basically the same name. You have to turn it in twice so that two people can read it. So think of it as turning in my draft to this person and then turning in my draft to that person. So you have to turn it in twice, put it in two different places so that they can read it. You have until Sunday at 4 p.m. to turn in the draft, okay? That is a hard deadline because after that, Canvas will automatically give your email to someone to read. And if your email is not there, it will not be assigned to someone else. And if your email is not there, Canvas will not assign you an email to read. Importantly, the peer review, your grade is based on the quality of your comments. So if you submit your email in two different places and get feedback from other people, but you never log in to read other people's comments, read other people's emails and comment, you will get a 0. If you do not comment, you will get a 0. If you comment very poorly, you will get a poor grade. So we're going to go over the logistics of what Canvas will ask you to do and how to do it, and then we'll also go over what I'm looking for in terms of quality comments, okay? So Sunday before 4 p.m., so anytime Friday, anytime Saturday, and in the morning on Sunday, you can turn in your draft of your email to two separate places called peer review of email. After you have turned it in, Canvas will then, after 5 p.m. on Sunday, peer review will show up in your to-do list. So if you log back in on Canvas Sunday night or anytime on Monday, you will see 2 peer reviews in your to-do list. You will click on them and it will take you to someone else's email that you can comment on. Okay, again, if you did not turn it in time, you will not get assigned an email to peer review. So it's really important you do it before 4 p.m. on Sunday, and anytime after 5 p.m. on Sunday, you will see the peer reviews that you're supposed to do in your to-do list on Canvas, okay? Now, importantly, you have until Monday on midnight to do the peer review. That's the only thing we're doing on Monday. We're going to just take it seriously, read their emails, give them the best feedback you can before Monday at midnight, and then anytime on Tuesday you can log back in and see the comments that were left for you on the emails that you turned in two different places, okay? And I will also see it too, and that's how I will grade it, okay? So in terms of getting the feedback, when you get the feedback from two separate people, this is real practice with an audience. You are a writer and you are writing for an audience, and this is a practice audience. If two separate people read your email and, for example, say the first sentence of paragraph 1 is confusing. If two separate people thought it was confusing, it's confusing. Okay, there's almost zero chance that two people accidentally thought something was confusing when it wasn't confusing. So that's the reason I assigned 2, so that you can compare people's feedback. If you get a comment that only one reviewer made, It's up to you if you think that they make sense or not. Do you think this makes sense and it's easy to fix? Then fix it. If you think that person was completely wrong and you don't want to fix it, then don't fix it. You're taking responsibility for your grade, okay? After you log back in and read those two people's comments, your job for Wednesday is to fix your email and turn it in again on Wednesday as the final draft. I expect to see, unless your two peer reviewers were like, this was amazing, no changes. But if your peer reviewers gave you a ton of feedback and you didn't change it, then you have to take full responsibility for your grade. If it's a C minus and people told you how to fix it and you didn't fix it and you turned it in and you got a C minus, that's your C minus, okay? So take it seriously. Use their feedback to get a better grade. In terms of giving feedback, also be honest, okay? A lot of people are really insecure and they'll say, oh, maybe I'm just confused, and then they won't make a comment. Listen to what your brain tells you when you're reading it. If something seemed like the tone was way bossy and like, my God, I would not want someone to say that to me in an email, then actually comment on that, okay? If you think it's confusing, if it was confusing to you, you can say this was confusing to me. Okay, so listen to your gut. Don't try to guess what I would say. Write your own feedback, and that's a pretty good chance that that's probably pretty close to what I would have said. Importantly, to help guide you with the peer review, you will see on the peer review that I left a bunch of questions. I thought about what are the things that I would look for when I grade the email, and I wrote those things out as questions. And I want to see one comment per question. So for example, if I say, is the formatting correct? You're going to look over the formatting and say, no, you indented these paragraphs and they should be block. So then I want to see one comment that says the formatting is not correct because you should have used block paragraphs, not indented paragraphs. Or you might look over the formatting and see everything looks good, but I still want to see a comment saying everything looks good. I want proof that you read the questions when you were doing the emails, okay? So one comment per question suggesting that you actually considered those two things. And I'm going to, in the next minute or so, I'm going to show you a little video to show you what that interface looks like so that you can see how to leave a comment and what I'm looking for in terms of comments. But the key here is that we're doing this as practice for the professional world. We're also doing it so that you can get a better grade. You need to turn in 2 copies of the draft of your email before 4 o'clock on Sunday. You can find the prompt under modules where the project email is, but you can also find the prompt attached to the announcement on Thursday, okay? Give your honest feedback, and when you're reading the feedback on Tuesday, don't get defensive. If people told you something is confusing, then you need to fix it and make it better to the best of your ability. And don't be like, oh, these people don't know what they're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Usually that's a pretty good indication that you're not a very good writer because you're not willing to get feedback from the audience, and your job is to write for the audience, okay? So don't get defensive. They're just trying to help you. They literally just did the assignment. So use what you can to improve the email. And then you can ask me any questions if you have any questions, okay? But try not to get too defensive. And those of you who are giving feedback, be honest, okay? You're not going to hurt their feelings. You're just helping them get a better grade. And again, that's part of the professional world. If your boss asked you, can you read this and tell me how to make it better before I send it out to a client, and you are too afraid to tell your boss you need to fix this, then you're going to create bigger problems for the company when the boss does send it out. Okay, and the same thing, if your boss is like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. I asked you for your feedback, but you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to send it out anyway. And then there are problems because they sent it out anyway, then it's on the boss, right? So it's a two-way street here. You have to give good comments and you have to be willing to get comments, okay? Let me go ahead and show you the interface on Canvas, and then you can go ahead and write your draft and post it on Canvas, okay? Hold on just a second. You go into Canvas, you're going to see a screen that looks somewhat like this, and you're going to go ahead and read the questions that I left you on the peer review, and you're going to make one comment per question. And you can use these tools up here. I do not want to see you type out comments here or at the bottom of the page. I want you to make them in text using these tools. So for example, if one of the comment questions was, is the formatting correct? I would look over this. In this case, this is a letter, but you're doing an email. And I would say, okay, well, these addresses should be single spaced. So I can choose the highlighter. Oops, sorry, this is not the highlighter. I can choose the highlighter and I can highlight what I'm talking about so that the reader knows. And then I can type out here, the formatting is not correct. The letter should have single spaced addresses. Okay, and then this way they see my comment and they see what the comment refers to when I highlight it. I don't want to just write formatting wrong because they won't know what that means, okay? They need more feedback so that they know how to fix it. I could also just use this text symbol and write, you should single space these addresses, okay? And then I go through the questions like that. Let's say I was reading and the question the teacher asked me is the tone correct? And everything looks good. I don't want to just write good tone. I would want to pick a section, again, maybe with a highlighter, and say, I think you have good tone. And maybe make a comment with a specific comment about their tone that proves that I read the text and I really thought about the question. Say, I like how the letter ends with an apology and shows that you are really thinking about their needs. Okay? Something like that. Okay? So you don't want to write just good or even just good tone, good formatting. You want to give enough feedback that they know what's good, what needs to be fixed, how it can be fixed. So for example, if something needs to be moved, I can also use this drawing tool and say, this should be moved here, for example, and Canvas will let me explain why I drew an arrow and why I'm saying they should move it. There's also a strike through thing where I can say, I don't think you need this sentence, and I can strike through and again leave a comment explaining why I striked through, which question am I referring to on the questions that the teacher asked. Also, I can, so things like that. And again, just to reiterate, I can, if I have my highlighter tool and I say the teacher asked me, is the tone good? Let's say this sentence was not good, right? I could not, if I just wrote the tone is harsh, for example, the reader who gets this back is going to say, what about it is harsh? I don't understand. How do I even fix this? So if I say the tone here is accusatory, you are making it sound like he did all of this on purpose, and you don't know who caused this damage. I recommend rephrasing so that, right? So if I give a good comment like that, they'll know what about the tone is wrong and how to fix it. So the key for this peer review is for you to give really specific comments, one comment per question that I ask. And again, even if the answer is yes, they had good formatting, you still have to make a comment. And I say at least one comment per question because maybe if, for example, there's 2 mistakes with formatting, then you should make 2 comments to help them fix it. And again, to reiterate, your grade is based on the quality of your comments. So if you do not have really specific comments, really helpful comments, then that will hurt your grade. Even if they have a really great email, I want you to show me that you understand exactly what is great about it so that you can emulate it in your own email, okay? So even if they have a really, really good email, I don't want to see something that just says, this was a great email, right? I want to know I want one comment per question that I asked. And again, just to reiterate, you're not going to write them all out here at the bottom. You're going to use all these tools to make them in the text so they know what you're talking about specifically when you make a comment, okay? Yeah, so I think that about covers it. You can use all of these tools. Most people just rely heavily on the highlighting tool, and that's totally fine because that helps you highlight the sentence you're talking about and make a comment. But if you want to use any of the other ones, you can too. Just help them make the best email they can and give helpful comments, okay? And one last time, the questions are listed in the peer review assignment. One comment per question, okay? Let me know if you have any other questions.